a lot of the shuttle play. That'll stop any sort of rear harassment. That'll stop any sort of drops from Stork, so that's a very, very smart play by Canata as well, going for that early start point, getting that up and ready. But he's going to have to transition to heavy ground play here because, well, he lost that dropship and he lost the 4 Vultures, so he's playing a little bit catch-up right now. And Stork has a little bit of advantage right now since he didn't lose any Dragoons to those mines at all with some very, very impressive micro.
Allowing to really beautiful there by Stork to taking his third. He's going to be funneling some probesters that start mining. It has a couple of Dragoons to help him support. Canata tells the command center up, thinking of taking his own third. I believe going to float it towards that 6 o'clock position. Stork just going to be sitting pretty. Has observers all over the place. He's going to be able to spot those Vulture positioning. Vulture's going to run around. Has a small number of Dragoons actually milling out. Should have an observer to support as well, just to maybe go do some mine clearing. He's going to wait in that base. Vulture's going to try to plant some mines around that bridge. Dragoon's going to start microing against those. Stork, careful. Yeah. Yeah. Not like that, dude. Get an observer. Be careful. Thinking of taking his mineral only, I believe. Just outside of his main, all over the map. I think that probe got picked off though by the Vulture. Nice little snipe there by Canata. Vulture's just running around, just trying to be annoying, trying to pick some probes up, trying to get into the natural expansion, just be annoying, just mill out some Dragoons. While Kanata's just meanwhile getting his number up. I believe was putting up an eBay. Also has a second dropship out, so he might be trying to find a position to put up a second dropship. Now Cannon's going to be put up by Stork, so he should have some upgrades alongside from that forge coming in fairly soon. Gonna take his mineral only. He's going very macro heavy, not even going to be bothered by Canata at all, because Canata not going for any sort of push. Has his own shuttle coming out. Has to be careful not to get that picked off by Wraith, because Canata does have a Wraith up. Science Filter coming up, so we're going to see some heavier upgrades on the way. More dropships actually being produced by Canata. Going to have that Wraith to support it. Dragoons being moving out. Goliaths pick up that observer. I'm just going all over the place right now. Goliath's picking off all the observers of Stork's inside of his own base. So at the very least, he's going to deny vision, but I think Stork still saw everything he wanted to see. Dropship's going to come in, pick up tanks and Goliaths, I believe, so he's trying to go for some sort of heavy drop. Just has to be very careful not to land right on top of those. Oh, gonna get spotted by the observer. That is critical. We're going to see Stork most likely move those Dragoons back. Now, there's one single dropship inside the natural expansion, but we're going to see what is going to be in time. He's thinking of possibly planting some troops on that ridge. Yeah, tanks are going to be able to siege up, and the dropships are going to be able to move in and at least give vision. Some of them are at least, meanwhile, going to be able to rage some of those probes. Wraith also going to help out. That cannon's going to get taken out. But Stork knows the situation happening. We're going to see he only has one single dropship, so we're not really going to be able to drop on top of that with his Goliath there. Observer at the very least going to give him vision. Vultures, meanwhile, trying to mill in. Trying to be all annoying, just distract Stork on all sides. Oh, but he's doing a pretty good job clearing those mines, microing against them. Finally moving in with a dropship and those Dragoons. Give himself vision. He's going to be able to pick off these tanks. He's going to be able to... Oh, man, taking a heavy Dragoon damage, but he should be able to pick all these forces up. Not going to be able to use that shuttle simply because those Goliaths in play. Actually going to be forced to move back. Natural expansion, not really mining much at all, so at the very least, this is some advantage. High Templar on the way. They would be very successful. You can get him in range and just storm that entire ridge, but he is going to move on with enough Dragoons now. He's going to be able to pick all this off. Now these Goliaths are going to stand there uselessly. Cannon, meanwhile, going to be put up. While Canata just now gets his third up, and it's a mineral only. So Stork, despite the fact that there was some damage down there, I think the longer this goes on, is going to have a very large macro advantage. Canata actually moving out, going to take that natural expansion, put it down. He has a lot of tanks and Vultures moving out. He has to be very successful with this push in order to get back into this game.
You know, I'm very surprised that Canata went for the mineral only instead of the natural expansion. He has 2 dropships, so I would have thought that he would have gone for that 6 o'clock island and taken the base there and gone for this third gas, which he should have been able to easily take. And this spot that Canata keeps going to for his tanks, you know, this reminds me so much of like Othello, where the TVP problems on Othello, where, you know, there's a lot of ridges that Terran could really land on and play with, and it's really economically very costly for a protoss to push them out, especially once Goliaths come into play, because you can't drop on them, and you've just got to bring a lot of Dragoons, hopefully maybe get a storm on if it's a little bit later, but it's extremely, extremely difficult. And yeah, Kanata's pretty much got power over the entire right half side of Stork's natural expansion. That is such a bad spot, and I think he's even in the rally point too. I think he's actually catching a lot of the rallied Zealots and Dragoons and things, so yeah, a lot of problems there. He is sending out a DT, so we might be able to take this down, but as soon as the scan comes in, you know, the DT is going to go down as well. We'll see how fast Stork or Canata gets the scan off. There's the scan, going to take down that DT pretty easily, I think. Actually, no, the DT actually gets out. Some good play there by Stork, some nice micro, able to bring those Dragoons in, taking a couple hits for that, for that DT, allowing that DT to live. Stargate is up, so Arbiter Tribunal should be up any second now, so we should be seeing some some Arbiter play here. And off of 3 gas, he should be able to produce a good number of Arbiters. We also see some marauding Vultures trying to see if they can catch any spare units around the map. But I think they're just going to mine up, just going to keep getting him scouting information. And Canata seems pleased off of his 3 bases, but, you know, I've got to agree with you. I kind of like Stork off of his 4 right now, especially considering he's got 3 gas to Canata's 2, which means that he'll be able to get more Arbiters out, be able to get Storms in as well, which is already seen him mix in, and he'll be able to get a little bit more of a tech army out. Canata will be able to have plenty of tanks, but it's going to be difficult as he tries to mix tanks in with science vessels, which he will need in order to counter Arbiters. That's when we'll start to see the 3rd gas really kick in for Stork. And a bunch of Vultures coming in here, going to catch some Dragoons, surrounding Dragoons. And Stork needs to be careful here, needs to bring in some reinforcing units, but I don't think he's going to be able to. And all these Dragoons, well, most of the Dragoons are going to go down, and the Vulture's kind of doing their job there, keeping the Dragoon number count low. And Stork also trying to sneak a base in at the top right main, not even the natural, going to try and take the main there. And still Canata using this stupid little red ledge here, doing a lot of damage. Storm's coming in here, going to catch off all these units, and I think everything might go down. Maybe a siege tank lives. No, everything goes down with like 3 or 4 nice storms by Stork. But if Canata is wise, he'll bring over another 2 tanks and 4 more Goliaths and keep pumping there. And that is not for Arbiters. I was completely wrong. That is for a fleet beacon. That is for carriers. We're seeing the bird toss go aerial on Canata once again. He's going to be going carriers, and this could be effective, but there is already a good mix of Goliaths mixed in already for Canata, so I'm not sure how effective this will be. He should have some Goliaths already, should already have the upgrades as well. So we'll see if he's able to catch him by surprise. Might be able to get a little bit of an advantage, but overall, I don't know. With Canata going for those early Goliaths and armory, I don't know how successful this is going to be with the conversion into carriers.
Yeah, what I like about Stork's move here is that he already has a decently sized ground army. Some of his Dragoons were taken out, but he has a lot of gateways going. And with the amount of base he has, he's going to be able to support those carriers alongside a ground army. He has some right now, an attack moving in. Canata trying to cross the bridge, has the science in to support. Gonna siege on that bridge, moving in Vultures. I really like this heavy Vulture play, going very, 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 very heavy on the Vultures, just so we can have absolute control of the map. Stork actually going to move some probes up to that upper right-hand position. Might have gotten spotted or not. I'm not quite sure. There's an ACV there as well. Just Stork, meanwhile, trying to position himself, has a shuttle there as well. I assume that's for Zealot bombs. He's going to try to get past those Goliaths on the side. Goliaths are going to start attacking that shuttle. Shuttle is going to go down, but a lot of storms coming in from Stork. Holy crap, that's a crap load of storms. One defensive matrix did go on a tank, so saved its life for a couple of seconds. Stork over getting some very beautiful storms off. Not going to allow him to quite push in completely. Vultures, some of the Vultures microing around some other storms. But at the very least, Stork's going to open that position just a little bit more. Meanwhile, taking the upper right-hand position very nicely, adding in some. It was there, but oh man! Oh man, Canata, beautiful position, putting those Vultures right in the right spot. Going to catch a lot of those probes off guard. Not all of them got taken down. So that's at least a plus because he had a lot of probes moving towards that location. But now he's going to move around, mine all around, kind of hoping to catch a Zealot or a Dragoon produced right into that probe line. Stork still has a lot of troops on the ground, getting his attack upgrades for his carriers at the moment. So he only saw weapons 1 upgrades for his ground army, so he's going to focus heavily on those carriers. I assume Canata at this point, not quite sure yet of course, but I assume Canata at this point has already spotted. He's putting down turrets all over the place. I assume he already has scanned the main and spotted those carriers on the